Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing a deep dive into cryptocurrency. We're going to break down the technology, its history, and the really intense debate that's raging about its future.
So let's start with a really big question. What if money didn't need a central authority? No banks, no governments in the middle. This one question is right at the heart of cryptocurrency, a technology that's trying to completely reshape how we think about finance and trust. Let's see how it works.
All right, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll start with the basics. What is it? Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the technology behind it. After that, we'll explore the huge and expanding crypto universe, look at the very real challenges and criticisms, and finally, talk about what the future might hold as governments try to regulate it.
Okay, first things first. When we say cryptocurrency, what are we actually talking about? Let's nail down a clear definition. The absolute key feature here, the thing that changes everything, is decentralization. See, instead of a central bank keeping the one and only ledger, the network itself does it. The record is maintained by a distributed agreement, a consensus, among all the participants. This is all locked down with cryptography, which makes sure no single person or group can control the network, freeze your funds, or just change the rules whenever they want.
You know, the idea of digital cash isn't exactly new. It actually goes way back to the 80s. But the real game changer was Bitcoin in 2009, released by the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto. It was the first to really solve this huge problem for decentralized systems called double spending, making a true peer-to-peer electronic cash system possible for the first time. Then a few years later, Ethereum came along and built on that idea by introducing smart contracts, basically self-executing contracts where the rules are written directly into the code.
And this is fascinating. Hidden inside the very first block of the Bitcoin blockchain, they call it the Genesis block, is this headline from a British newspaper. This is pretty much seen as a direct commentary on the 2008 financial crisis. It's like a mission statement baked right into the code, suggesting Bitcoin was created as an alternative to a traditional banking system that seemed, well, pretty unstable.
Okay, so that's the what and the why. Now let's get our hands dirty and look at the how. How does all of this technology actually work under the hood? At the very heart of it all is the blockchain. The easiest way to think of it is like a shared digital checkbook that can't be erased. Every computer in the network holds a copy. Transactions are grouped into blocks and then added to the chain, one after the other. Each new block is cryptographically linked to the one before it, which makes it practically impossible to go back and change something without everyone noticing.
So, what does a transaction look like? Well, first, it's broadcast to the entire network. From there, computers called miners or nodes gather up a bunch of recent transactions into a new block. Then comes the hard part. These miners all race to solve a complex cryptographic puzzle. The first one to solve it gets to add their block to the chain, and just like that, the transaction is confirmed and locked in for good.
Now, for this whole decentralized thing to work, everyone on the network needs to agree on which transactions are valid. This is called a consensus mechanism. The two big ones you'll hear about are proof of work and proof of stake. Proof of work, which is what Bitcoin uses, is that super secure computational race we just talked about. It's rock solid, but man, it uses a ton of energy. Proof of stake is the alternative. Instead of computing power, users lock up or stake their own coins as collateral to get a chance to validate transactions. It's way more energy efficient, and you're seeing major networks like Ethereum make the switch.
Okay, so with that technical foundation laid, the world of digital assets did not stop with Bitcoin, not even close.
The universe has just exploded. I mean, look at this number. Over 25,000 different cryptocurrencies out there as of mid-2023. These are often called altcoins. Now, to be fair, a lot of them don't have much value or utility, but the sheer number just shows you the incredible scale of experimentation that's happening.
And in this huge universe, it's really important to understand the difference between a coin and a token. It's pretty simple, actually. A coin, like Bitcoin, is the native currency of its own blockchain. A token, on the other hand, is built on top of an existing blockchain, like Ethereum. And tokens can represent all kinds of things, a piece of a project, a digital collectible, or even voting rights.
And within these thousands of altcoins, some distinct categories have really emerged. You've got stablecoins, which try to solve that wild volatility problem by pegging their value to something like the US dollar. You have governance tokens, which give holders a say in a project's future, a huge deal in decentralized finance, or DeFi. And then, yeah, you have meme coins. Things like Dogecoin, which often start as a joke, but can attract these massive communities and a whole lot of speculation.
Of course, all this innovation doesn't come without some serious drawbacks. This technology faces significant challenges and has some very vocal, very credible critics. The first and most obvious challenge is the extreme price volatility. These massive price swings are just common. This makes it really difficult for cryptocurrencies to work as a reliable day-to-day currency, and it makes investing in them exceptionally risky compared to traditional assets. Then there's the issue of illicit use. Now, data shows that illegal activity was only about 0.15% of the total transaction volume in 2021. But here's the thing, that tiny percentage still represents billions of dollars used for scams, theft, and illegal markets. It's a massive headache for law enforcement. And you can't talk about crypto without talking about the environmental impact. The energy needed for proof-of-work networks like Bitcoin is a major point of criticism. We're talking about the Bitcoin network alone, producing a carbon footprint comparable to that of entire countries. That's a staggering amount of energy, and it's drawing some intense scrutiny.
However, and this is a really important however, it's crucial to know that not all cryptocurrencies are the same here. There are vast differences in energy efficiency. While a single Bitcoin transaction uses hundreds of kilowatt hours, other networks, especially the ones that don't use proof of work, are literally orders of magnitude more efficient. The difference is night and day.
And finally, there's the fundamental criticism of value itself. You've got prominent figures, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Nobel Prize-winning economists, who have called crypto a speculative bubble with no intrinsic value. They argue its price is based only on the belief that you can sell it to someone else, the greater fool, for more money later on.
So, this powerful combination of groundbreaking innovation and significant risk has left governments and regulators all over the world scrambling to figure out how to handle this new asset class.
And right now, there is absolutely no global consensus. The approaches are wildly different. You've got outright bans in countries like China, and then you have El Salvador, which made Bitcoin its legal currency. Major players like the EU and the US are in the middle, trying to build comprehensive rulebooks to balance protecting consumers with not stifling innovation.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's clear that cryptocurrency is way more than just a passing fad. It is a massive, ongoing technological and economic experiment playing out in real time. It's challenging our fundamental ideas about money, about trust, and about the role of big institutions.
The final answer is still being written. Is it a technological revolution, a massive speculative bubble, or something complex and fascinating in between? We don't know yet, but understanding its core principles, the tech, and the debates around it, well, that's the first and most crucial step to forming your own informed perspective.